Well, hello and good evening. It's Wednesday night, so it's Leading Ladies, Leaving Legacies, Living Legacies. And tonight we're bringing you a lady who's in the corporate world, healthcare, but yet we're going to talk about what it means to be a professional. But before we get started, let me say hello and welcome. It's always good to see you here. Always good to see you here. One of the things that we always want you to know is that you are welcome, you're appreciated, and you're valued. So now we think big, we think global, we think international. So we say good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good day, one of my favorites, and to maybe a few of you, good night, wherever you are, sending your way always the very, very best. Most of you know that I have issues with names, but I have a lovely lady here tonight. Her name is Linda D. D. Benedetto, and she's going to help me with that pronunciation. But she is a lady who's involved in the healthcare industry, and we're going to talk tonight about what it means to be a professional because it's a word that's kind of misconstrued today. And our young people, more than ever, they need to really know what that word means and why we all like it so much, especially those of us who are working on the internet, because it's a new frontier that we're involved with. So, my friends, all of my loyal and faithful, it's good to see you here. It's always good to see you here. We welcome you. I'm going to bring Linda over in just a moment and have her welcomed, but I want you to know how we appreciate and value you. And before we get going, I want you to type in the word replay if you're watching this as a replay show so that I'll know that you were here. But in the meantime, what I want you to do is know how loyal and faithful you are and how you are appreciated. Now, let me bring over our guest tonight, D. Linda D. Benedetto. That's the correct pronunciation. Linda, hello and welcome. So good to have you here. Thank you for your patience.
Oh, thank you, Joy. It's a pleasure to be here tonight with you on your show. I'm
Well,
so excited.
bless you for that, because we had a few little technical issues. We did what we all do because we are professionals. We just rose above them, and here we are together. So now, Linda, there's something I want to ask you right off the bat because I don't shy away from much of anything. And there's something that you gave me in your bio, which I love, but I don't know what it means. I could have done my Google research, but I'd rather ask you. It
Sure.
says that, Linda, you are a certified MACRA-MIPS healthcare professional. Now tell us what that means right off the bat.
Well, I'm a certified MACRA-MIPS Healthcare Professional. And what that entails is MACRA. MACRA is an acronym for the Medicare Access Chip and Reauthorization Act. It's a piece of legislation that was put into place, it was actually put into law in 2015. And what it did is it actually changed the way that physicians are reimbursed by Medicare. So the law mandated that Medicare provide an incentive program for physicians, and that became what's called now the Quality Payment Program. And MIPS is part of that Quality Payment Program. So what it does is it reimburses or incentivizes physicians on the quality of care that they provide to their patients over versus what they used to do is have see as many patients and charge as many services they can in a day. So essentially, in simple terms, it's value over volume.
I like it. Sounds good. And thank you for that explanation because I had no clue. I know a pretty decent amount about the healthcare industry, but not that. Now, tell us a little bit about what you're doing now and why you love what you're doing so much. And then we'll get into this professional item. But tell us exactly what you're doing in the healthcare industry and how it can inspire and motivate and enlighten many of us.
So, as a CMHP, a certified MACRA-MIPS health professional, I'm qualified to project manage physicians that are trying to navigate this new payment system called MIPS. And I can oversee their programs oversight. So when MIPS first came into effect in 2017, based on this law, physicians and their clinical staff, their leadership, they didn't know what the ins and outs were of this program and how they could succeed. So it gave me the opportunity, working for McKesson Advisory Services, to go out around the country and support physician groups, mainly your community oncology, your community, community physician groups, on how they can really maximize their points in this program to maximize their scores and get a good incentive reimbursement at the end of the year. So I was able to provide that support and education to them.
So you're traveling around the country to give information and make people more aware of all of the benefits and options that they have available to them. Is that succinctly how you would put it?
Well, what they needed to do in order to succeed in the program.
I see. All righty. One of the things, and here, we have always my loyal and faithful. Here is one of the questions that she asked. She says, very interesting topic. What is your definition of being professional? Now, I want to speak to that a lot tonight. But before we do that, I know that we have 3 points of interest that we're going to cover a great deal. Yet, before we do that, would you want to share with us what your definition of professional means?
Okay, sure. Can you still see me,
I
Joy?
can, yes,
Oh,
loud and clear.
okay. So being professional, I mean, there's a few things. First thing is you really need to know your stuff, right? You need to know, zone in on your skills, what's important to, what you're working on, whatever it be, whether you're working for a corporation or you're an entrepreneur, you really need to know your stuff, right? And then I think the second thing is, and I learned this early on, is that you need to have what's called, and I didn't know it at the time, but you need to have what's called executive presence. And that executive presence is
Be-
ability to inspire with confidence.
Okay, I want to stop you for just a moment there because here's a word that I'm incorporating a lot into my image consulting because a lot of people feel that image consulting is just your exterior and how you dress, and that's it. But you mentioned a word that's very much a part of one's image, appearance, and very much tied in with professionalism. Speak a little bit more about executive presence because a lot of people don't really understand that. And I think it's really key. Presence is more important oftentimes than appearance and even image if it's not the right one. So let's speak a little bit about that, Linda.
Exactly, Joyce. So your appearance is really just a filter of your executive presence. So it's a part of it. And there's 3 parts to executive presence. And the first one and foremost, the core is gravitas. And I love that word, right? And I just, learned it not long ago, but it ties in so good. And gravitas is simply is how you act, right?
I love that. I never heard that word before. I love learning. Say that again.
Gravitas.
Okay, I like it. I like it. Okay.
So it's how you act, how you show up yourself to people,
Okay, I like it.
right?
I think that I'm going to take that from you and expound on that because that ties into what we're going to talk about. You said you had 3 major simple points to connect and relate to. So let's start. Did you finish your point there, Linda, before we go into the 3 major points that you gave me?
Right, but right. That's a part of executive presence. There's 2 other parts to it.
Okay. What are the other 2 parts?
So the other 2 parts are the second one is communication, how you speak, right? So how well you communicate with people, and also on the flip side is how well you listen to people. Okay.
Yes.
And then the third is what you touched on before, is your image, your appearance. That's how you look. And that actually is a filter into your communication and your gravitas. So appearance, and you know this because you're the expert, right, on style and appearance. And it even though it's a small part and it's just a filter into that, if you come if you're not polished
Oh,
and groomed properly, and you're
um,
doing,
can you see this? Somebody says she can't hear you.
oh
Is
really?
there anybody? The volume is very low. Is there any way you can turn that up? Can you get it higher, much higher, the max that it can go?
Um, Let me check here. I'm sorry.
No, no, no. It happens. This is technology, any and everything. You just have to rise. But I knew when you came in that it was a little low, but I was hoping they could hear.
Oh,
Bottom line, if you can get it up higher, it'll make a difference. And somebody out there will let us know.
let me see. Is that better? If I
I
put
don't know. She'll let us know. Let's see. Janice, if it's better, let us know because
that
she put
better?
on I guess it's a mouthpiece. Let us know. Uh,
Can you hear me now?
Nobody's responded yet, so maybe it's better. So we'll continue. I hope so. You can't turn up your volume higher than what you have. You just put the
Trying, but it won't go any higher.
okay.
I'll try
Well,
it
we'll go with that.
faster.
Go back to your third point, which was image, and then we'll take it from there.
Right. So your appearance, right? So if you're, even though gravitas and communication is very important, how you present yourself, are you presenting how you look?
Yes.
You want to be polished and you want to be groomed. And those are things that you can learn and acquire. So, and actually, all three is something that you can learn and acquire. So, executive presence really is important if you want to be a leader, an entrepreneur, whoever you're speaking to.
Okay, so she said you still can't hear. Let me see if they can maybe respond to this now. It must be a technical problem. They can't hear you, so the sound is not coming through. And are you on a Mac or a PC?
PC.
Okay. She said she still can't hear. So,
Do you have any other earbuds?
all right, listen, life happens. Just somebody else said it was very, very low. Oh, I heard that.
Can you
Now
hear
I,
me
now I can. Yes, very good.
now? Good.
Much better.
Okay, well, we took off the headphones.
Now it's a little loud, but it's better. Janice, can you hear her now? I love this stuff. Janice, let us know if you can hear her now because she took off her headset.
Can you
All right.
hear me now, Janice?
She's going to let us know if she's still there. You know, when the sound more so than lighting, when it's not right, people disappear in the wind and we understand.
Right.
But whatever you did now, your sound is good. It's a little too loud, but it's better than being too low. So
Okay.
let's see what happens. Let's stay with where we were. We spoke about the three major points, and we're going to talk about the three that you gave me. This first one that you gave me, I don't know if I'm pronouncing it right, a gravatar. That and your communications and your image, that's really the three pivotal points, the three keys for great professional leadership, more or less. So now that said, let's speak. Now Janice can hear you. She said yes. Thank you, Janice. Really appreciate it. Good to see you out there too as well. Let's speak to the three major points that you want to speak to, which I'm completely and totally in sync with. And the first one that you spoke to, and we can tie and relate those to the three that you just gave us, is skill set. Let's speak to what being a professional, and again, I have several names. One is redundancy. We can go back and repeat things about why being a professional is so important to all of us, and especially to you in the corporate business world. But let's speak to skill set. How would you define and speak to that?
Well, as far as skill set, in my experience, what I did is I gained experience first. So I went out into the healthcare field. I started out working in the evenings part-time as a collector for a radiology group. And that led me into becoming full-time in the billing office and learning all the different areas of medical billing. And it wasn't until later on, after I had all of these skills and understood, medical billing pretty much inside and out, that I finally decided to go to college. So I ended up going later on. So I gained my experience first.
Just stop right there, because that's a very powerful point you made. Because one of the things that all of us know who work with young people, myself being one of many, many moons ago, is oftentimes you don't really know what you want to do. You don't know what your calling or your career is going to be. So you get out there, and I always tell the girls, volunteer with things that you think you like, things that you feel that you like right now. And then you start working and doing something, you'll get all the nuances of whether or not this is for you. And what you just mentioned, Linda, is more powerful than many of us realize. You got involved in the healthcare at the, not so much the bottom strata level, but then you found that there was a lot that you liked about it and you wanted to advance. Yes?
Definitely. Definitely. And it made my college, because I went for a degree in health information management, I breezed through it.
All righty. I get it.
Because I knew a lot about the field.
So when
administration.
All right, I get that. When you speak to skill set and tying it in and connecting it to what you just shared with us, how are you aligning skill sets with professionalism and being able to adhere and go into professionalism, being a professional from that viewpoint?
Well, I think that what it was important for me is to find people that really knew their stuff in the field and attach, myself to them. Start working on projects with them. People who really, knew the field, were experts, and learning everything that I could about what they did, and having them, be a mentor. I think it's always important to have a mentor, especially when you're trying to build up your skill set.
Yes. Yeah. Well, that's more than powerful, that statement right there. And then we get to another favorite, self-confidence. Now that ties into the three that you gave us initially in the beginning. And what I want to do is piggyback to those three with the three that we're talking about. We're talking skill set, experience, and self-confidence, and how they connect and relate to a gravatar. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that correctly, but we'll get it. A gravitas, communications, and image. Connect those and speak to us a little bit about that.
Connecting all three?
Yeah, what they mean as far as how they connect to being a professional and what one has to do or be mindful of if they are striving towards being a professional. Because in my mind, Linda, the best way to express this, in my mind, people used to think of professionals only as doctor, lawyers, and Indian chiefs. But you can be a professional in whatever it is you're doing. That can be a carpenter, a plumber, it can be a landscape artist. It can be any and every and all. But what makes one a real professional? I have my outlook and take on it, which I'm going to share with you once we finish with these three that we're talking about, and then we can have it open for discussion. But how do you connect the three of those, and what does it mean to you, that professional bent of steps to being?
Well, to me, it's all how you project yourself. Making sure that you are professional in a professional way, the way you present yourself, you communicate clearly, concisely, your appearance, you're groomed and polished. You don't have to go overboard. You don't want to wear too much makeup. You don't want to, of course, you just want to present yourself for whatever situation that you're in. And then you want to try to have that confidence that, like, you speak as a leader.
Yes. All righty.
Communication for me, Joy, and it's still a challenge, has always been a challenge, and it's still a challenge. And that's why I am a perpetual learner, I call myself, because right now I joined Toastmasters. I do a lot of speaking engagements all
Yes.
over the country in front of, many people. And it's always tough every time I get out there. So I joined Toastmasters. I love it. They can help with your professionalism.
Yes.
It's just a wonderful experience, and you can do it, go once a week and meet people and really, really build up on those communication skills. So I think it's you have to be, you can just say you're professional, but I think it's a constant education. It's just always promoting yourself, making yourself better. I also do a lot of meditating. I listen to a lot of podcasts that promote positivity and, making myself better. So it's really just, trying to show that you have confidence.
Yes. Let me share this with you and get your feedback on this, because one of the things that we know, things change and yet they remain the same. We have new words now for different things. We have image, we have appearance, we have back in the day your demeanor, your decorum, these
Right.
old words. Yes, yes, yes. But in point of fact, one of the things that we did mention, which for me, and I want your take on it, is vital. Being a person of your word, integrity, ethics, and taking a stand and being able to say you're wrong and apologize when it's necessary or needed.
Right.
I think a lot of people who strive to be professional, they forget to be authentic in what they are projecting.
Yes. And what you just explained, Joy, is what's called emotional intelligence. And you can take courses on that. You can look up, thank goodness for social media. You can look up everything. You can YouTube it, especially being a leader. It's so important to have emotional intelligence.
Yes.
And, make sure that you understand where other people are coming from.
I think that's
humility.
Exactly. That ties in with your 3 points initially, which is the aggravatize, ties, however, communications and image. Communications is crucial in being a professional person, because one of the things that we know now is that you have your style of communicating, I have mine, and that's all well and good. You perfect that. But if you are really in a product or service arena and you're communicating and relating and building relationships with other people, you have to learn to communicate with them on their level. So how would you speak to that? That ties into emotional intelligence too, but it goes further than that. So speak to that a little bit, because knowing how to communicate with others so that you hear, you mentioned listening, you listen and you hear what it is they're saying and how they are relating back to you. That's how you don't have to take up their style and their manner.
Right.
If you're a professional, you must learn how to get back to them so that they hear what you're saying.
Right. And that's a good point, because McKesson is a Fortune 500 company.
Yes.
Right? We're a very big company. And right now they're going back to making it simple. Speak to people in simple terms. You don't have to use all of these big words to prove that you're a professional. And they always call it like backyard barbecue talk. Don't overdo it. Just be yourself. Speak simply, speak clearly and concisely.
Now you just hit upon something that many people misconstrue, and that is vocabulary. Yes, you want to use words that convey what you are saying, but you don't have to use big, vainglorious words.
Right.
Because nobody really cares. They want to know, did you hear me? Do you understand me? And am I important to you?
Yes.
And if you're a professional, and if you're working and striving and being that, then you want to convey that you are hearing them, that you do value them, and you appreciate what they're about and understand how they are coming to you in whatever manner. I think that word professional, especially for our young people, it's so misconstrued because of this thing with values that have to do with material things. they're missing the beat on what it
Right.
means to be a professional. Now, in your corporate world, in the business world, when you go out to meet and greet and to share your knowledge and information, I heard what you said about learning to speak and you're still wanting to master that. I don't think we ever master it. I think we're always perennial students. But what do you find with how you connect and relate to the people? Do you find that your delivery changes with the different audience, the different parts of the country that you're in?
Oh, of course it does. And one the biggest part of communication is learning the art of listening, right? And listen first, get to know who you're in front of, listen to them. Don't overpower, and of course you want to be comfortable with silence as well.
Yes.
And I feel when, dealing with going out and visiting physician practices, I was in a practice. So many years I worked for different multi-specialty groups
Mm-hmm.
through my experience throughout the years. So I felt very comfortable going in and working with the front office staff or working with the leadership staff. So that really helped me as well.
Tell me, Linda, what is the most difficult part of your work? What is it that I heard you speak to communicating and speaking to the audience and how you do that. But what other aspect of the work that you do gives you the most stress, causes you the most concern that you want to master more?
Well, in the field I'm in with the MIPS and MACRA, all the acronyms that go around in healthcare administration, and healthcare is changing so rapidly these days. So that's the main thing, is making sure that I, as a subject matter expert,
Mm-hmm.
that's what I am today in my field as a practice advisor, that I keep up on all of the changes happening today in healthcare, and I'm able to relay those changes to the practices that I support.
I see. I get it. Now, time just flies here. Tell us why it's important for you. You are a professional. You are in the professional corporate business world. It's healthcare, but it's still business. Everything, bottom line, is business. Tell us why it's important to you to be about empowering not only yourself, but other women. Why?
I just feel like I have so much to offer. I've had so much experience. I love learning. Like I said, I'm a perpetual learner. And I love being a mentor. I want to help other women succeed. I know a lot of, today millennials have a hard time. There's, you have to, they're having to go to college and be professional, but it's not all about that. It's about experience too. And I just feel like I have a lot to offer. And I hope that going forward, I can help other women succeed in being, if they want to go into the corporate world, or they want to advice on either making up a resume or advice on going on an interview, whatever it may be. I just feel like I have a lot to offer.
Indeed, you do. Let me ask you this. This is, oh boy, I'm not going to hesitate. You are in that world, which is a corporate business world. What is the number one issue that you have discovered with women who come in that they need to be about correcting or being more on point with being better at it, whatever it might be, speech, dress, skill sets? What is the number one thing that you'd like to see more women become more powerful in their professionalism in business?
I think it's just more of women trying to be more comfortable in their own skin, being who they are, not trying to not have an inflated ego, being positive, listening to people, having that emotional intelligence, and not trying to overdo it.
I love the answer. You know why? Because it ties right back into your 3 points that you made. And the third one was self-confidence. All of that you said boils down to having more self-confidence, more confidence
Yeah.
in what they're doing and what they're about, even if they're in the learning mode, which we all are continually until we drop from the planet one way or another. But having that skill set again, and the experience of being the best that you can be. That's what you're saying in
Exactly.
a more succinct way. Indeed. Now, time flies here, and I want to leave the group with one other thing. But before we go, is there anything that you want to share with the audience that I didn't ask you, or something you want to leave us with? Is there any important point that you want to share, or?
I would, because as I mentioned earlier, I just found Toastmasters.
Yes.
And I have to tell you, if you are inspiring to be a professional, an entrepreneur, anything you want to do or succeed in life, Toastmasters can help you really have that confidence, learn how to communicate, be a competent communicator. That's what I'm striving for.
Yes.
So please, we have a wonderful group in Port St. Lucie, the Port St. Lucie speakers at Kaiser University on Monday nights. Come join us. We have fun and we could all learn together.
I love that. You couldn't end better, Linda, because no matter what you're doing, learning to speak and to be clear and have clarity is crucial, essential in whatever it is you're doing. Now, before we go, because I like to have fun as well, I don't know why I'm having a problem with your name, because I know you. Is it D Benedetto or Di Benedetto? D.
D Benedetto.
D Benedetto. Linda D Benedetto. Thank you, thank you, thank you. It was a pleasure to have you. And you know what? Let's just laugh about these little technical issues that we had in the beginning. They happen. It's in the beginning, I used to like pull out every strand of my hair after I took, but no more. I just go with the course, and that's what you did. So thank you for being here. I enjoyed it. You gave us lots of good tips. I appreciate them.
Oh,
And
thank you. Thank you
and
so
you.
much.
I'm going to put you to the side, but don't leave, because I want to come over in the green room, I like to say, and then we'll discuss a few other things. So for now, just go to the side and I'll be with you in a short time. Okay. Thank you. Thank you. Thanks for being with us.
You're welcome.
Oh, my. Let me tell you this, my friend. It's always good to have people here on Tuesday and Wednesday nights. We never know what's going to happen. It's fun. It's fun for us, and it's even fun for you sometimes, I'm sure, because technology, we have little gremlins running around, and sometimes they just take over, and we do the best we can. So thank you for staying, for being a part of the show. And the prayer is that at the end, you got enough from it that will help and support you on your journey. Now, before we say goodnight, there's one thing I want to leave you with. I have made a joint venture with someone that I absolutely went over the moon about, because what Linda and I talked about tonight, you can verbalize it in many different ways, but it's about building relationships and knowing how to communicate with all the different people that you come in contact with, because we all have our style. And our style, we perfect, and we don't reach perfection, but we're constantly reaching and striving for excellence. That said, if you're promoting a product or a service, you really have to learn, and this is a big point for me, how to communicate with the people that you're connecting with, because their style is totally alien and different from yours. And if you're not able to communicate and connect with them, then you're not going to make it a point to win them over. And that's what you want to do. There's something called BANK. It's the only methodology in the world that's scientifically validated to predict buying behavior in less than 90 seconds. Love this. Fell in love with it, took the quiz, and I knew that it was for me. I hope you'll feel the same. They say that 82% success happens when you utilize and use this program, which is really pretty high. The other percentages you don't want to know about it when you don't connect. And what's exciting, my friend, is that Google has adopted this BANK methodology as part of its training regime, because they realize that, as humongous as they are, that a lot of the people coming in are not utilizing the best way of building relationships and communicating in a way that Linda said, emotional intelligence and the image and all of that goes into skill set, experience, communicating with people and listening to them and communicating back to them your style, but where they can understand and hear what you're promoting and the service or product that you're offering is essential. So if you are one of those, unless you're doing fantastically well with any product or service that you're offering, it behooves you not to take this key, just type in key, Key, in the comments and take this personality assessment for you. Find out what your style is. For me, it was somewhat surprising. We don't ever really see ourselves, I don't think, really, not truly, not the way that we can from another perspective. When you take the test, then you'll see what your style is, and you'll get an inkling about the other styles, and then you take it from there. And whatever you do, get back to me and let me know what your thoughts were and what you felt the bank methodology did for you. Need I say, it's always good to see you. It's always good to be with you. And the patience and the loyalty that you have warms my heart each and every time I look down and I see those who are here, always to share and to exchange and to tune in. Because what we're doing is bringing you women from all the different stratas, business, entrepreneurial, every type of business, who are female trailblazers, agents of change, purpose-driven, cosmic healers, and heart-centered leaders. And all of those, some women have one or two, some women have none or in the process, but all of them are desiring to be, especially if they're one of the five, professional. Professional is what we all have to aim for. And that's the ultimate intention. Thank you for being here. Have a great week, great weekend. Enjoy and be back with us next Tuesday night at 7 p.m. All the best. Thanks again. So long for now. Cheers.